Hey, in many times I get people who say that man is full of ego. He has an ego. Then you wonder, what is an ego? Everybody has an ego. As we are in life, everybody got an ego. An ego is described as a person's sense of self-importance and identity. And it can help people grow or can make you go down. So it can identify your uniqueness. You can stand up for themselves or put some plans into action. As Eckhart Tolle says, the ego is the unobserved mind that runs your life. So in most cases, the ego is a psychological construct you have as a result of your thoughts, experiences, mental conditioning, and any influence from the society in which you live. That is what makes an ego. Now, so when people say that that man is as an ego, what is the ego? It is something which is in our mind. One of the philosophers said that your body is a heap of food ingested over time. And the memory is something which we record. So the food we eat in our lives is what makes our muscles and everything. All of this we have is our muscles, or what can I say? Our muscles, we eat food, we ingest the food, and then the food we eat is the one which makes us our body. So if we eat a lot of food, we become huge. For example, if you eat a lot of, I'm not trying to put in a lot of food, but our minds also is made of all of this food. So we are made of two things, very, very important here. The food we eat make our body. And over time, we continue increasing in our memory. From young, we develop our memory, and then by when we are at the age of 35, most of 95% of who we are is made of our experiences which are recorded in memory. So our ego is built on the same way. How is the ego built? Now let's look at the process of how the ego is built. Now, after the fertilization on our egg, the embryo develops in the body of the mother, in the womb. And then it becomes, from an embryo, it develops to be a fetus. The fetus feeds on the food from the mother through the umbilical cord. So as the food is ingested, the body starts develops organs, differentiates to have different organs in the body. Even the brain starts developing from an embryo. By 9 weeks to birth, your brain is developed up the spinal cord, everything. And then a child is born, a small child is born, good. Then he's covered, he starts crying, then he starts crying, and then now he's taken care of, he grows up, starts listening to other things, and then at times now starts having toys and many other things, and then he starts calling, this is my toys, this is my what. And when he goes to school now, he starts developing the ego. Now, when somebody's going to say, my toys, my what, you look handsome, whatever you are told. You go to school, a child starts, he's doing well in class, you are smart. So he feels that to himself that now he's smart. Then he joins, he will join the the high school team. Then he becomes a captain, he becomes a backpack, and then that becomes his identity. Now he grows. He goes to college, graduates, becomes an engineer. All of those makes and forms what the person is now called an individual. So when a person is, when you grow like that, you develop your ego. So your ego can either be an ally or a foe. So there are so many things that our ego can be. Our ego is you want to identify with things. You can be possessed, and now you want to associate with things, with good things here and there. So what the really ego is, and which we can test here, the ego is not who you really are. The ego is your self-image. It is your social mask. It is what you put a mask. Now, when you have grown, you know that there are some things you are told which are not good. So when you are told don't do this, you may want to do them, but because of that, you don't want to show. Like you can get somebody goes to church story, you are supposed to behave like this. So he will put a mask. And now it is you are already playing like a play you are. Your social mask thrives on approval. Because you want to be approved, you want to appear like a good Christian, then you now pretend to be that nice person. Then now, because wherever you go now, you have so many masks. When you go to work, people know you as an engineer, as a nurse. You're dressed like a nurse, you behave that, how nurses behave, you talk a nurse language. But when you go home, you are a wife, you are a husband. So you carry this mask because you want to portray yourself as a good person. So it makes that some of the bad habits you picked, you put them on your back burner. So that's why everybody carries masks. Because you want to portray yourself if you are meeting important visitors, you want to appear like you are a nice person. And in that process, now you create an image. That is, when now you create an image, there is an ideal self and actual self. Look at yourself in the mirror now. There is an image you have created, and that is now what we call the ideal self is the ego. The ego is instructing you that you know you are supposed to be this, but there is the actual self in you. You may go to a place you feel like you have been wronged, you could have yelled, but you are yelling because you want to appear as an ideal person. But the really you is talking of different thing about you. So in daily life, we have this ego. The ego can make you that you want to be an engineer, you want to be a great person, you want to do this. It can be positive. And at times, it can cause you harm because it can go into negative. In this graphical example, so you are three persons. There is an ego which tells you that is the ideal you. Now, to portray, the ideal you shows us your persona, the mask you put on, like you are a pastor, you are good, but inside you have traits which are not good, which you don't want them to show. Then you send them to the shadow. They are in your subconscious mind. So the ego is instructing you, put this mask, so good, the bad things goes to the shadow. But even if those things go to the shadow, there is one time that they will come back. They will get their way and they come back. And when they come back, they will really be out in you. So you need to weigh between you. So you are balancing between the ideal you and the real you. Because the ego is conscious. How does people look at me? And this comes with the looking glass self. Now, in this looking glass, it's like when your ego tells you how my mom and the dad see me, how my girlfriend see me, how my older brother see me, how my ex-girlfriend see you. Maybe it sees you as a monster, as a dragon, but your parents see you as a good child because you have always been portraying, hiding those other characters. You have only been showing those good traits. But then you worry so much how people talk about you. And this is where you get politicians. They want to hear how do people talk about me. So that is the ego telling you. Because now, take for example, and we can look at the cat. The cat looks at the mirror, sees a lion. That is what is in his mental image, that I'm a lion. So in a moment, it would be a hypotonic moment where it feels like I'm so strong, like a lion. But how about if we're a lion? But the really cat knows that when you face it, are you really a lion? Because if the cat will hear a lion coming, the lion will, the cat will run away. But in the image, in your mind, you are projecting things into your mirror, who you are. And that is what the ego is. That is the ego telling you you are a lion. In some cases, not even human beings. Look at the looking glass, which portrays well. You see yourself in a mirror as a business lady, beautiful, dressed nice. But the really you are a house girl, not well dressed. It shows. So in that mirror, it is what your ego is telling you. You know you are a beautiful, good-looking girl. That is how your ego will portray. So you think, oh, I'm nice. Look at this young man. I like these pictures. I got it. It's somewhere in social media. The guy is young with full ambition. He looks at the mirror. He sees himself as a businessman. He could, in this way, if you are projecting those dreams so that you work towards that dream, then your ego is helping you to achieve that. It could possible. So here the ego can be an ally because it gives you to project very nice things in the future. So it is good to have dreams. So your ego can create dreams in you. You want to be a great person. Go to the life of many inventors, those people who have done great things. They had dreams. And those dreams, they were helped by the ego. So when somebody is talking that you are full of ego, everybody has an ego. But you need to tame your ego because your ego can take you to a different direction. And let me give you a good example from the Bible. Absalom. Absalom was the third child of King David. Absalom grew up as a young man. He was third in line. So he could not think the person who was maybe to succeed his father as a king was Amnon, the firstborn. And between Amnon and Absalom, there was another one, Daniel. I don't know where he went, but there's no much story. So it was that child. Absalom developed his ego from ignorance. And he really wanted to be a king. Her mother instilled in her that you are a prince and you are special. You are not like the other one. Because Maacah was a daughter of King Talmai, the king of Gesur. So she told her son Absalom that you are special. You are not like these other people. You come from a lineage of kings, and now your father is a king. You are the most special. And then Absalom was very handsome, they say. Handsome, and he had this good hair, which heavy hair, nice. he would always cut the hair once a year because it was so heavy and it could weigh 5 pounds. So that went into his mind. And the ego advised him early in life that you need to plan to be the next king, to succeed your father, because you are special. That is why he plotted to kill David's first son, Amnon, because of the mistake he had done with her sister. And they killed him. So then he saw himself, when he killed his brother, he ran away to his grandfather, who was a king in Geshur, and stayed there for 3 years. But then David was advised, he accepted him to come back. So when he came back, but David said, I don't want to see him, let him go to his house. He stayed there for 2 years, he could not see his father. He sent Joab, can you come? And Joab could not come. Full of ego, he was so annoyed. He told his servants to go and burn Job's wheat. So that forced Job to come and talk to him. Also, when he came, he said, I want to see my father. Why did he bring me if he doesn't want to see me? Then Job organized, he came and talked to the father, and the father accepted him. But now, he was full of himself. That's how the ego, because of the things he was told that, you are special. And he knew that he was now in line. So he hired some people with chariots. He could walk in chariots like a king in waiting. When he was tired that his father is not giving him time to be a king, what he did, he went with a group of men and then crowned himself a king. So when his father was told that his son Absalom had crowned himself a king, he had run away from Jerusalem, fearing about Absalom. But his commanders, when he ran away, said, no, we can go attack these people. They came, before they would come to attack, Absalom came to Jerusalem, and then he started pursuing his father to kill his father, not knowing that his father was a skillful warrior and they had strong warriors. So they came after Absalom. When Absalom was pursuing them, they attacked them. When Absalom was running away, his hair, which was long, as he was running with his horse, a branch of the tree caught his hair and he remained hanging there. The hair which he was proud of became a foe to him, which he was so proud of, and he was killed. And that was his end. Why am I telling you this story? Would you be having some good qualities which would turn out to put your ego in a situation where your ego will be a foe? You may have been born with intelligence, but your intelligence can turn to be a foe in your life. You may have been born beautiful. Don't you know that that can turn around and be a foe in your life? Because it is good to do self-awakening, you look at yourself and see if there is something you need to change, because you may think you have an advantage over something, but then it can turn around to be your undoing. This is something you need to see. You could be born in the right family, as Absalom. Absalom was Prince Absalom, beautiful and handsome. Could you be in that situation? Then your ego, because you will need to understand yourself really. Who are you? Understand what your ego is, because your ego can instruct you, can use what you have to be a disadvantage to you. You will be born in a family of rich. You'll be born in a family where people are rich. Then you become lazy. You don't work hard. And then finally, you come to live in poverty. You could be having many good advantages, but your ego, you become full of ego, and then you do wrong things. You could be doing a good business. Then because the ego tells you, you do shortcuts, you break the law, then you end up going to jail or your business goes down. So if the ego in itself is not bad, it's how you use the ego. So go search your ego and see whether it is an early